This weekend on the original Rochester Press Box.
Hi, I'm Brother Wease, and this week when you tune in this show, I'm going to tell you why football's fixed.
And I'm John DiTullio. I want to salute one Section 5 team.
And I'm Mike Catalana. Tiger Woods has done enough to himself. He doesn't need a cheap shot from a guy who should know better.
I'm Bill Pucko, college football's Rasputin. Join us this weekend in the original Rochester Press Box. Hello, everyone, and welcome into the original Rochester Press Box. I'm Bill Pucko, joined as always by John DiTullio from Fox Sports 1280.
That's right, Billy. Great to be with you.
All right, 13 WHAM News. Mike Catalana, sports director there.
Good to be back.
Radio 95.1. We welcome in for the third time on the Rochester Press Box, the great Brother Wease.
Three-peat, I got a hat trick working over here.
Hey, we're serving you up one you'll love. Adam Silver, the NBA commissioner, has come out in favor of sports gambling. Look into the future, and with your vast knowledge of the subject, what is sports gambling going to evolve into eventually? It's going to come. What's it going to become?
Well, first of all, I think sports gambling is a terrible thing. I don't think people should bet on these games because let's say, for instance, I make a big wager on the Bills, and I get over there and I pay a couple of these kids $50, $60 a piece. They throw the game, and it ruins the game. That's why there shouldn't. Seriously, kids, that's ridiculous.
That's what I thought.
That's the reason they didn't have sports gambling. And if the future of sports gambling, I think, like gay marriage and other things you guys don't like to talk about, but all these things that you will see normal in the future, sports betting will be. I go back to, I actually, coincidentally, am looking at the line in the newspaper for this Sunday's football games. And what I think is funny about this, that you guys don't realize is, there was a time this stuff wasn't in the news. There was a time when the line wasn't even in the news. And I remember when it first went in, how I thought, wow, look at this. They're putting the line, but gambling's illegal. What's it doing in the news? We had the parlay sheets. People at Kodak all played parlay sheets. People are still playing them. Gambling is always going to be here, and I also believe, I don't know about you three guys who are in the sports talking business, I personally believe the numbers you see for TV and everything else for football is a lot to do with gambling. Mm-hmm. Believe me. I can't watch a game if I ain't got a wager. I don't care. It's the same thing. But if I got a bet, as people do all over America, it becomes a great TV show.
Yeah.
I totally agree. I think they should. It's legal already in Las Vegas.
Exactly.
It is legal in these offshore places where people can make wagers. If it never was, if it was totally illegal everywhere, then it would be a bigger deal. So what's the difference here in this case? And honestly, the part about getting to players and that people say that all, the sports that could happen in are ones no one would be betting on anyhow. You're not getting to a football player that way. Yeah, there's always the other issues. There wasn't legalized gambling in the NBA when somebody got to the referee who was point shaving, and he could handle it too, because a referee, he was smart. He knew the under and the over, call fouls. It was very, very, I'll say, easy for a referee to influence that. I think it's going to be legal, and the leagues are getting involved now because they're going to get a cut out of this. This isn't just because they think it's the right idea.
I go to that. You've already got a sponsor on your show, DraftKings.com.
They're everywhere.
These are big.
Listen, $400 billion is gambled illegally in this country. What Commissioner wants to do is he wants to have the government involved, and that's the only way he's going to do it. He wants it regulated. So that money will be distributed. Number two, he's talking about licensing fees. He's talking about sports books sponsoring the NBA. It's already legal in 4 states, gambling. Listen, you can't ignore this anymore. It is such a huge moneymaker. And here's the side note. They're building an arena. MGM is building an arena, 20,000-seat arena. Any coincidence? It's going to be open in about 2 years when the CBA is up. You don't think he's trying to get the NBA into Las Vegas? It makes sense on a lot of levels.
And look at the NFL, Bill. Why do you think they put out the injury list?
Yeah.
The injury list, and it's a formalized process, and teams get fined if the information is not accurate or close to accurate, because the idea is They wouldn't want a gambler or gambling people to have information that the rest of the public doesn't, and they try to work around it. So everybody knows it's going on.
Do you mind if I bring up something that's related to this? This past weekend, there was a football game on the TV that I wanted to make a wager on. The number 1 team in the United States was playing the number 5 team in the United States, and the number 5 team was a 10-point favorite. Now, in any normal world, that's absurd. But so what I'm putting forth is, I think Vegas should make your football rankings for college, because they're the only ones that know who's really number 1. I hope you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
In no real world should a team ranked 5 in any sport be spotting the team that's ranked 1 more than a whole score.
Because college sports is going to be a whole nother issue as far as these guys are concerned. Look, we'll stop there. We have the Buffalo Bills and the New York Jets this week, and we'll discuss that next. Welcome back to the original Rochester Press Box. Bill Pucko with you, Mike Catalana. We always go to you for the Buffalo Bills. We've got, well, first we got the debate, Manuel versus Orton, the Bills hosting the Jets.
Where do you want to start? You want to start with the quarterbacks? I think E.J. Manuel could have played like Kyle Orton in the last 2 games. And I think that's what's frustrating to fans. Not necessarily that they're in love with E.J. to come back, but you bring Orton in so you get that veteran play. You get that play in the red zone. You win against teams that you're very comparable with. He didn't give it to him the last 2 games. If he's going to play like this, you might as well see what you have in EJ. That being said, this is, again, still why you have Orton. They're only 5-5. They have the Jets, then they have Cleveland. So I can see why they are sticking with Orton for now. But the issue is not necessarily that EJ's done anything other than stay on the bench and take notes and be ready to play. But Orton hasn't done things. So it's very frustrating, I think, to watch him play.
Pick the game.
I'm going to pick the Bills because, well, as of the time we're taping this, we're not sure if the game's on Sunday or Monday in Buffalo, in Cleveland, in Detroit, in Syracuse, wherever it is. Wherever they play the game, I do think the Bills are a slightly better team than the Jets. I think Vic will turn the ball over as he's done in the past. I think the Bills win it by 3 points.
Wease, I see you shaking your head over there.
Well, I'm shaking my head because I love you sports guys. John knows I love you. And John's on my show every morning, and we've been arguing over the Manuel Orton thing. I like my boy's rap over here, but here's what, as just a guy that wagers on sports, the Orton's been in the red zone forever and can't get the ball into the end zone, and he can't run. Now they both throw funny balls, but I know that I saw Orton lumbering down trying to make a first down here and there. Would you deny that Manuel would have had those first downs? So would you deny that? Yeah. Oh, please.
Well, he hasn't really run all that effectively either.
Could he possibly run worse than Kyle Orton?
The last time they played against the Jets, Orton got 4 touchdowns in the red zone.
That was a long. What year was that? I know. We're all. But what are we? 6 or 7 quarters?
7 quarters without an offensive touchdown.
That's brutal.
And
That's
been to
bad.
the red zone, visited a number of times. It is more than depressing.
Oh, yeah.
And I know a lot of people don't like the play calls either, right?
When they don't work, nobody likes that.
Nobody blames the OC.
Wease, pick the game. How do you see the Jets Bills this week?
Well, I'm going with the Bills also if the game is in Buffalo, because the Jets had one freaky phenomenal game. Which, by the way, another thing I hate about football. I'm sorry, guys, it's fixed. I don't know if you guys know. Hold on, fellas.
Okay.
I happened to wager a big piece of my paycheck on this team from Pittsburgh when they were playing the New York Jets, a team that couldn't win any game. They had won one game. Meanwhile, the Pittsburgh team, led by that Roethlisberger kid who DiTullio used to hang out with, the guy was scoring touchdowns at will.
Yep.
What happened? The Jets killed him. How'd that happen?
Didn't Pittsburgh lose at home to who? Tampa Bay?
Tampa
Well, that
Bay.
was
They
before.
lost seconds.
And then they almost
That
lost
was
to
before.
That's
Tennessee.
the league. That's just the way
that's
it
the
is.
league.
Just like Orton, Roethlisberger's up one week, down another. I think that's just the way the league is right now.
But he was up.
Bills game.
Kyle Orton gives them still the best chance to win. They're a better team than the Jets. I think they may be galvanized by what has happened in Buffalo this week. I'll take the Bills not only to win, but to win big.
Can I add
win
a little
big, 10 to
caveat-
17
a little
points.
bit here?
Yeah.
If this ends up being a Monday night game at home in Buffalo, they blow out the
Yeah.
Jets. If it's something
I
else,
agree.
I say they win a close game.
All right, so
They'll
we
win
got
the
a
next
whole
2
play
weeks. I
Monday.
got the Bills
Hold
winning
on,
the
I
next
gotta
2
say
weeks.
something else, John.
Go
You
ahead,
hear what this
Weezy.
dude just said?
What?
Against everything you've ever said, you don't even say anything. He just said if the game's Monday night, the Bills win big. You're the guy that taught me
What did I
they
say?
can't win on the national stage.
Well, they're
That's
1
the
and 9
record.
in their last prime time games.
Right.
But at home, considering what has happened in Buffalo this week, I think the stars will be aligned for a big win.
But I just want you to know, John DiTullio taught me that
Don't
on the
bet the Bills
national
in prime
stage,
time.
1 win out of 9 or 10.
Yeah, they're usually on the road, too.
They're 1 and 9
1 and 9.
in
But
prime
they're
time.
favored by 4.5. I've got Buffalo also. Give me quickly a secondary game. Game you wanna pick.
I think I'm going to take, what the heck? I'm going to take the Eagles laying the points.
It's like a
Go
left-
ahead.
Oh.
Hey, I've gotten a bunch of other games wrong. I might as well take them.
Falcons are all of a sudden now contenders in the division. I got them beating Cleveland. They're -3 at home. I like the Falcons.
Weeze, who else you got?
I got the Dallas Cowboys, America's team,
Oh.
playing the New York Giants with Eli Manning. Dallas, 3.5 points. Piece of cake you're going to win by. Go ahead.
I agree.
Bet with me, kids. Don't
All
listen
right,
to these
I'm
guys.
taking the Seattle Seahawks, giving 6.5 to Arizona, 9-1 Arizona. Like it or not, when we return. This segment of the Rochester Press Box is brought to you by The Distillery. 4 convenient locations, The Distillery, your choice destination for Sunday brunch with great food and drink specials, plus all of the games. The Distillery, a Best of Rochester award winner. Tap into good times at The Distillery. Welcome back to the original Rochester Press Box. This portion of the Press Box is brought to you by our friends at the 4 locations of The Distillery. Like it or not, Mark Cuban hopes that the Lakers suck forever. Mark Cuban's one of your favorite guys, isn't he, Weeze?
Not one of my favorite guys. My buddy Opie loves him, has him on the show. But who doesn't love a chameleonaire if you can hang out with him? Anyways, who doesn't hope the Lakers suck or somebody? The guy owns the Dallas basketball team.
Right.
He should hope everybody sucks. But he just gets in the news. Is in basketball,
love it.
is he not the number one face of owners? Is there anyone louder than him?
No, it's not
Nah.
even close.
Yeah.
He's the Jerry Jones of the NBA.
Yeah.
And I love it. When he speaks, he's Merrill Lynch. We listen. I love it no matter what he has to say. I wish only the Steinbrenners and the Henrys would get into a feud like this when the Red Sox Yankees. For me, this is great.
It's such a great quote. I'm trying to imagine the Pagulas being quite as forthcoming.
No.
with
Yeah,
somebody.
I
I
don't
don't think we'll
that's
see
going to
it.
happen.
All righty. Like it or not, Mike, LeGarrette Blount walks out on the before the Steelers game is over and the team cuts him. the
Okay,
next day.
preseason, Le'Veon Bell, LeGarrette Blount, they called him Cheech and Chong in the backfield because they both got busted with pot.
Yep.
And you see the way the two guys have gone. Bell is an awesome back who just ran for 203 yards. Blount hadn't done very much, complaining about his playing time, and then he leaves the field beforehand. He just made it easy for the Steelers to cut him loose. If he was playing better, it would have been, we got to sit down and have a talk with LeGarrette. No, he wasn't playing that well. He had gotten in trouble in the preseason. It was an easy call. That was just the last step to kicking him out the door.
The only thing I can think of that was comparable to that was when Kenny Kaiser and those umpires quit their job in an effort to get more money. And baseball just said, fine.
Well, yeah.
Keep
They
walking.
got bad advice. They were told to walk. I don't think anybody said, I don't think Troy Polamalu said, why don't you just leave? I know how you're feeling. He left. He
That
quit
would
on his
work.
team. So I don't know if anyone's going to give him another job, at least not this year.
Really, that he walks away from the last job he'll probably have in the NFL.
Yeah.
John, like it or not, the new college playoffs and
great.
what's happened most recently.
I love it. Every week they come out and there's controversy. Listen, there's 3 teams that I think are locks. In Alabama, I think Florida State, and Oregon, unless they lose. Now, that 4th team is...
unless they lose.
Well, it's still a lot to be decided. But I love it. I'm old enough to remember where they didn't... Listen, where they voted before the bowl games. They used to vote for the national champion before the bowl games, the AP and the UPI. Then you could, I remember when the number 1 and number 2 couldn't match up because of their bowl affiliations. Then we got the BCS. Now we're here. It's evolved.
Yeah.
College football's evolved, and that's the best thing. 14 playoff, tremendous.
Yeah, it's 4 now. It'll definitely go up to 8. I think it's
I
just a
hope
matter
not,
of time.
because 5, 6, 7, 8, I don't need it. I think Final Four, to me, is perfect. Why tweak a good thing?
Yeah, I'm with John too. I like the idea that they're
Gonna
that
go,
compact.
It'll go to 8.
Yeah,
They'll
I
add
agree.
the games.
I don't think they're
It'll
going
be
to
on
want 2 lost teams competing for national
I
championships.
love the fact that Florida State hasn't lost
Yep.
each of the last 2 weeks, and they bumped them down to 3. Unfinished business when we return.
Tap into good times. The Distillery is your destination for great food, drinks, and sports viewing entertainment. Join us Sundays for our brunch menu starting at 11 a.m. featuring huevos rancheros, breakfast burrito, BLT fried egg sandwich, and the hangover frittata. Add to that 2 for 1 Bloody Marys and margaritas and great beer specials, and you have a winning combination. Sunday brunch at all 4 Distillery locations and thedistillery.com.
The Distillery.
Welcome back to the original Rochester Press Box. Bill Pucko here. It's time for Unfinished Business, and John starts us.
For someone who is proud to live on the West Side and proud to pay taxes out in Greece, I'm so proud of the Greece Athena boys soccer team. Back in August, their head coach, Bill Huber, unjust, was fired from his job by the school board. We can get into why he was fired later on a different show. So the boys soccer team was left without a coach until Mike Butler, who has coached girls soccer and boys basketball, took over. Well, until this year, they had never won a Section 5 championship. Until this year, they had never won a state championship. Mike Butler did both of those under some difficult circumstances. In the end, everybody won. The boys soccer team won. Mike Butler, who's a great guy and a great coach. And let's not fail to mention Bill Huber, who landed a great job out in Gates.
Fix I saw in football. Last Saturday, I had a nice wager, and I was very proud of it. I picked Miami. I picked the Miami football team to beat the undefeated Florida State team with my guy, Jameis Winston. So there's 2 stories here. Real quick, Jameis Winston, who's never lost a college football game, the last game he lost was in high school, was playing Miami, and I picked Miami. Miami's winning 23-10. Miami's handling these dudes. All of a sudden, I see some really bad calls. Call me a poor sport, but if you saw the game, you saw the rape job a guy got trying to catch a pass, no pass interference. Anyway, I saw it coming. Florida State wins the game. Jameis Winston, who gets in a lot of trouble off the field, seems to be a phenomenon. And in the news this week, Kevin Hart, who is a phenomenal comedian, a lot of people watching know Kevin Hart. He's been in a lot of funny movies, and he's got one coming out shortly. Kevin Hart got with Jameis Winston and told him to stop doing dirty word stuff. Stop it. Here's a kid who he could screw up this whole thing, and he's phenomenal. What do you guys think?
Yeah. No,
He's a great player.
I don't trust him. I wouldn't draft him.
I wouldn't draft him if you were to put your team in his hands, because his mistakes are knucklehead mistakes. Well, not his original one or the allegations, the original one with the sexual assault. The rest of the stuff is just stupidity, and at some point
A bad fit would be him in New York with the Jets.
Yeah.
Who are chomping at the bit to probably draft this kid.
Really?
To me, that's
I
a
would love that.
disaster.
And by the way, I wanted
him in New York.
to ask Wease, have you ever been on the right side of one of these fixed games? Or you always lose?
Never. We're going to hear more of that once we legalize it, too. Everybody's going to be doing this. Michael, go ahead.
All right, this week in Golf Digest, Dan Jenkins, who is a revered writer, 80-some years old, he's been writing golf forever, wrote a parody piece where he did an interview with Tiger Woods. And in it, he has all Tiger's answers, and Tiger looks like a clown in all the answers, and it goes on and on. Well, Tiger wasn't happy about it. His people weren't happy about it. And I got to say, I kind of agree with Tiger here a little bit. Dan Jenkins was mad because Tiger wouldn't sit down and do an interview with him. Look, Dan Jenkins has written all these books. He's been around a long time. Are you really that upset that Tiger wouldn't sit down and do an interview with you? See, you took cheap shots at him. And you're Tiger Woods. You have taken shots left, right, many of them self-inflicted, but you take shots all the time. I thought this was a real cheap one by Dan Jenkins, who should be above this. That should be one of those parody things that's written in some garbage magazine, not necessarily in Golf Digest. Tiger's done a lot of dumb things to himself, but he's done a lot of awesome things for the game of golf, including bringing in the big, big money. You want to write about him? Write about him. I thought it was a cheap shot, and I thought Dan Jenkins was above that.
Funny how these things work, because now people are reading the Dan Jenkins thing, and did you see Rick Riley's tweet at the end of it? Rick Riley tweets, "Tiger, please hate my book."
Yeah. Well, it won't be easy because Rick Riley takes a lot of cheap shots at Tiger, too.
Maybe you know this guy, Grigory Rasputin. You ever met him?
I knew the old guy from Russia.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one.
Of course.
Assassinated in 1916. On his resume, he was a peasant, a wanderer, and then a mystic healer. He was assassinated at the turn of the century Russia. He was poisoned, shot twice, clubbed, and then shot 4 more times before he was pronounced dead. Rasputin is Florida State. Florida State has been behind 16 or more points 3 times this year, down at halftime 4 times, and they keep winning. Florida State football, you just can't kill them.
Rasputin, Vegas really liked Rasputin a lot, though.
He was a big favorite in that. We'd like to thank our friends at the Distillery for sponsoring the original Rochester Press Box, and a thank you to
Billy,
John DiTullio, as
good
always.
show.
Mike Catalana,
Good to be back.
Brother Wease, classic as always.
A lot of fun.
I really hope the referee stops screwing you.
Well, I wish we had more time. You saw that, I'm telling you, bad things.
Alrighty.
Bad.
Thank you all for joining us. We'll see you next week on the original Rochester Press Box.